Hey, if you're anything like me, your house might look like the supplement section of a health food store. There are many reasons why you might be supplementing. However, if you're supplementing hoping to make up for a poor diet, constant stress, and not exercising, then you're going to be up for a rude awakening because you can't supplement your way out of a bad lifestyle. Welcome back, and if you're new here, I am 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞, and I help you and your family optimize brain health so you can feel calm, focused, and productive every day. Today, we are going to bust a major myth in the health world that supplements alone can solve all your problems, because spoiler alert, they can. But first, I want to let you know that I am dropping 2 videos every week. On Monday, I am going through my 5 pillars, and on Thursday, I'm making videos like this that kind of shake up the common myths or the common belief systems. And those are on Mondays and Thursdays. So make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you are the first to know when a new video has dropped. Now, while supplements can be a great addition to your routine, which I will not argue because, like I said, in my house, I literally have a closet that's set up like with all my supplements. If I use half a bottle, I don't throw it away in case later I decide I want to start using it again. But in reality, they are not a substitute for the real foundations of health, which are diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and yes, supplementation is one of those 5. And in functional diagnostic nutrition, that is referred to as DRESS. Diet, rest, exercise, supplementation, and stress reduction. And if you notice, supplementation is only 1/5 of the equation. So there's another 4/5 of that equation that is really important if you want to turn around your health. We're going to look at those 5 different elements. And the first one is diet, which is the foundation to everything. You have probably heard the saying over and over again, you are what you eat. Actually, it's probably more accurate. You are what your food ate, right? Because even though we are eating said food, how that food was fed, whether it was a plant or an animal, is very important, whether they were fed with chemicals or fed more holistically. But no amount of supplements can make up for a diet full of processed foods, sugars, and empty calories. So please don't be taking your vitamins along with your morning Pop-Tart, is all I'm going to say. The fuel that you put into your body directly affects the energy levels, mood, and brain function. A balanced diet full of whole foods like vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, and healthy fats is the foundation to your health. And the food pyramid, I think, is like upside down. So don't pay attention to the food pyramid or the square, or whatever shape they're doing it these days. But this is where you get the essential nutrients your body needs, and the supplements should be just that. It should be supplementing an already healthy diet, not a replacement for it. Now, granted, I'm totally with you if you are saying to yourself, our food is growing in nutrient depleted soil. Correct. Okay, so it is important to add extra nutrients, especially minerals at the very least. But those minerals aren't going to do much if you're eating nutrient deficient food. But our one time we were in Ecuador, actually. So we went to Ecuador, we were in this town, and a lot of those countries have open air markets. And we saw the guys there sitting there with their vegetables, and like these cabbages are like humongous. And you're like, how are you going to buy a cabbage like that? But what people do is they buy a slice, like a slice of a watermelon. They buy a slice of the cabbage. And we were asking them, like, why are they so big? Because they're grown up in the volcanic soil. And then they get so big and heavy, they actually break off and they were like roll down the hill. That is nutrient dense soil. Our soil has been so depleted through many reasons, right? There's like modern farming, there's the stuff they spray in the sky, so that maybe like aluminum and like stuff is getting mixed up in our soil. There's just a lot of reasons why our soil could be depleted. But so even though the food isn't as dense with nutrients as before, but you still need to eat good food because it still does have nutrients. You can't just say, well, the soil's depleted, our food doesn't have any nutrients, so here I'm just gonna take it all up in vitamins. Can't do that. All right. And another thing to note, that glyphosate, that's the spray, the Roundup spray, they spray it on everything. So as soon as the wheat when they're ready to, they cut it, they spray it so it dries. It's sprayed on so many things. In fact, that's what the GMO is mostly for, or at least partially for. I'm not sure if it's only for this, but GMO food is to withstand like pesticides and Roundup on the herbs that grow around the plant too. So anyway, glyphosate is sprayed everywhere. That is, originally glyphosate was a mineral stripper of like water tanks, I think, and so they would calcify. This chemical was used to strip all the minerals. So if you are eating food, normal food, unless you really are eating like 100% organic and you know where the organic comes from, because even glyphosate goes downwind and can get into other fields. It can be in the wind. It can be in your own garden. You don't even know it. It's not going to be to the same extent. But anyway, so when we are ingesting glyphosate, it's destroying our gut. It's stripping us of minerals. So we really do need to replenish with a lot more minerals than we probably think. And we have trace minerals and we have macro minerals. Macro minerals are electrolytes, and trace minerals are all the other little 85 minerals left. Fulvic acid mainly has the trace minerals. Fulvic acid, I think, also has the main minerals. Humic acid is what people can take because it'll bind. The humic acid, I think, it's a binder, so it binds to the glyphosate and helps you eliminate it. So taking humic and fulvic combination is good, but to get extra minerals, fulvic and electrolytes. Me personally, I take extra magnesium. I think like malate, glycinate, and acetate. I'm not sure what the third one is, but I have a magnesium it's a newer one that I'm trying out. For me personally, I'm doing extra magnesium and then all the fulvic acids and the trace minerals. So you need a lot of minerals. But again, I can't be eating Pop-Tarts every day and then like just taking my minerals is not going to work. And another thing is, bromide. So bromide is something that is added to like breads and stuff, and bromide actually binds to fluoride, bromide binds to iodine, which is why I'm over here, because this is where my thyroid is, and that's where iodine. Bromide binds to your iodine, so a lot of people are iodine deficient, so adding iodine into your diet is going to also be super important. And there's certain areas of the country where their soil is even more iodine depleted than others, so that's another thing. And then fluoride also, I think, kicks out the iodine too, so it doesn't do you any favors, and it calcifies your pineal gland. It's a neurotoxin, so fluoride, if you live in an area where you have fluoride in the water, this is not what this is about, but you need to make sure that you are somehow getting it out of your drinking water. It's really hard. There's very few filters that can do it, and the filters that can do it, I think, do it like partially and not fully, so reverse osmosis might be a possibility, but fluoride, not a great thing. In fact, yesterday, I'm serious, just last night, my friend in Mexico showed me a bag of sea salt, and they put iodine in it, which is good, and they also put fluoride in it, which is what? The iodine and the fluoride's probably binding to the iodine and not letting her get it anyway. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there. If you're trying to supplement to make up for the fact that you're just filling your body with junk, then you're wasting your money, and maybe you're buying yourself a little bit of time, but you got to really think about it. If you bought a Ferrari or a really nice car, a BMW, whatever, and you just went and just put your orange juice in the tank because it was more convenient and cheaper and whatever, what's going to happen? the car is not resilient at all. Like, the machines only run a certain way. Your body, thank goodness, is much more resilient, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't supposed to run a certain way. And so when we put stuff in the body that it didn't mean to, God made us a little bit flexible, but we can only be so flexible. All right, so number 2, rest. That's the R for dress. And we know that sleep is important, but often it's the first thing that we're sacrificing when life gets really busy. Chronic lack of sleep or poor quality of sleep doesn't just make you feel tired. It leads to inflammation, weakens your immune system, and even messes with your brain's ability to detoxify itself. No supplement can give you the benefits of a good night rest. You should aim for about 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night, and make sure to prioritize rest and recovery, especially if you're dealing with stress. If you find that you're waking up in the middle of the night, which I'm going to admit, I do. That started when I was pregnant. I think there's a little bit of a hormone thing, and I'm working on it. I've been working on it forever. But here's some of the things to consider. First of all, if you wake up around like 1 to 3 in the morning, that's when your liver is working. And if you have a toxic issue, it can be like kickstarting you and waking you up. Number 2, histamine foods can wake you up or keep you just like awake. So histamine foods could be chocolate. So eating chocolate like too late at night, eating like shellfish, I think those are histamine foods. Even broth, bone broth is a histamine food. So if you eat histamine too close to bedtime, and you have a histamine problem, you have a problem clearing your histamine, then that can be an issue. And also, what's another one? Cortisol spikes. So you shouldn't be eating, if you find you're waking yourself up in the middle of the night, you should try not eating like at least 3 hours before bed, or maybe eating a protein-rich something so that you don't get the cortisol spikes, so it keeps you more even. So anyway, there's some different things that you can start to work on. And an Oura ring, or I do not have an Oura ring. I actually am going to get one that's called 𝐟𝐵𝐶𝐿 because it doesn't need a subscription. You can get that on Amazon. But you can wear those and they can monitor like your sleep and all your states. So that's something really cool that you could do. Also, some sleep hygiene. In your house, you should turn off the internet at night, like turn off the wireless. So go to your box and turn it off. If you can wire your house, but go to your box, turn off the internet at night so you have your brain can detoxify. Your brain at night when it sleeps shrinks, purges toxins. It goes like down through your lymphatic system and your lymph, and its job is to detoxify. Melatonin is a big detoxifier with glutathione. So melatonin's role isn't really just to put you to sleep. Melatonin's role is it detoxifies your brain. And your body, but mostly your brain. So melatonin is really important. So taking melatonin, like a functional doctor might give someone for as a part of a detox thing, they might give them melatonin even in the day. It's not going to make them sleepy in the day, but there's creams, there's different kinds of melatonin, but high dose melatonin it's not going to knock you out or anything. Anyway, so melatonin, your brain shrinks at night. So turn off your Wi-Fi. So when you're sleeping, you're like you don't have all those invisible Wi-Fi. It really messes up with your brain and your detoxification. Also, if you really have a hard time, it depends on how low your bed is, but like our bed's low, and if you are in line with the electrical outlets, you also can turn off your breakers. There are even certain remotes for breakers that you can hook to certain breaker switches, turn off to certain rooms, and at night you can figure out which one goes to the bedrooms. You don't want to turn off your refrigerator. That's something to do. Also, keep your room dark, keep it cool. Your body sleeps when it cools down, so keep it cool. Keep the windows open if you can, but you don't want to be sleeping hot. And I think that's kind of the main thing. Anyway, so let's go on to exercise. Exercise just isn't about building muscle or burning calories. It is essential for both your body and your brain. Regular movement has a profound effect on brain health. When you exercise, particularly through aerobic activities like running, biking, or swimming, your body increases the production of BDNF. BDNF is brain-derived neurotropic factor. It's also referred to as the fertilizer or miracle grow for the brain, like a fertilizer for the brain. It promotes the growth of new neurons, strengthens existing ones, and enhances brain plasticity. Your brain's ability to adapt and learn new things. When you exercise, particularly through aerobic activities, your body will increase the production of BDNF, which then supports cognitive function, memory, and even mood. So that's why if you do some research on ADHD, they'll suggest that running is like one of the best things that you can do for ADHD. If you have a child and before school they run a mile, I'm not kidding, if before school they like go run a mile or two, it depends how old they are, that can really go a long way for the day. Really getting them active. All of our kids are so sedentary these days that it's no wonder. Exercise also improves blood flow to the brain, delivering more oxygen and nutrients, which helps with brain function and the removal of toxins. It reduces inflammation, which is crucial for protecting the brain from neurodegenerative diseases. In addition to the brain benefits, obviously, regular exercise helps balance hormones. It reduces stress, improves overall well-being. It triggers the release of endorphins, those feel-good hormones, which help reduce stress and anxiety naturally. Physical activity supports metabolic health, helps maintain healthy weight, and strengthens your cardiovascular system. No supplement can replace the benefit of exercise, right? We don't have, unfortunately, exercise in a pill or exercise smoothie. We don't have that. So we do really need to do that. Even if you're taking brain boosting supplements without regular movement, you are missing out on a major way to enhance your brain function and protect your long-term health. So you should try to aim for about 30 minutes, moderate activity every day. Now, depending on the age, for me, I'm walking. I don't want to run because I'm a little bit concerned with my joints not being, I don't want to twist an ankle. So I walk and I go bike riding when I can, but I walk, but I get out. You got to get out and you got to move every day. The younger you are, the more you can move. Jumping on a trampoline, going to the trampoline park if you have one. We have one, and because I take my son, and then I used to always just watch him, but then I started jumping too. And at first it was very embarrassing. I don't know what it was. I just couldn't get the rhythm because you can jump from tramp to tramp. I couldn't get the rhythm of jumping over to the next trampoline And that took me a couple visits, but anyway, jumping, and because your lymph system is the one system that doesn't have a pump. And so you need to, be moving that. And even if you're doing yoga or Tai Chi or anything, just move. Your body really needs to move. So the goal is to make exercises a regular part of life, not just for your body, but also for your brain. So you need it for both. Okay, stress reduction. Chronic stress is the biggest contributor to poor health. And also, stress isn't just emotional stress. Excuse me. We're going to probably talk about it in this form, but just know we have external stressors like emotion. We have things that we are breathing. We have things that we're watching on TV. That might be more like emotional stress. But the things that we're in contact, the toxins in our environment, that's an external stress. The internal stress are things like our microbes that are creating the endotoxins, the whole dysbiosis, the food sensitivities that we have, the inflammatory triggers, those are internal stressors. So a stress is a stress, and chronic stress of any kind is one of the biggest contributors to poor health. And reducing it is essential for your body and your brain. And when your body experiences stress, it activates the HPTA axis, which is a hypothalamus, pituitary, also in your brain, thyroid, I was like, what? Thyroid and adrenal axis. I had a little brain freeze there. That basically, hypothalamus gets a warning signal, whatever, sends hormones to your pituitary, sends signals to your thyroid, sends signals to your adrenals, make cortisol and goes in a vicious cycle. When your body experiences stress, okay, so it activates the HPTA axis, and that axis actually is controlling how your body responds to stress, and it starts in the brain. The hypothalamus, like I just said, sends signals to the pituitary gland, which turns, eventually it'll tell your adrenal glands to release the stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones prepare your body for fight or flight, and it's an important survival mechanism, so we do need to have it, but it increases your heart rate, diverts energy away from non-essential functions like digestion, and heightens your senses. If you are always in fight or flight, you're going to have problems with your digestion. You're going to have problems like eliminating regularly and different things. Your focus is going to be like on the environment because you're trying to prepare for that attacker or whatever it is going to be. The problem is that most of us are dealing with chronic and long-term stress, which means the HPTA axis is constantly activated. This keeps you stuck in a state of sympathetic nervous system dominance. And that's the part of the nervous system responsible for fight or flight. Over time, it leads to exhaustion, inflammation, poor digestion, disrupted sleep, and even cognitive decline. So chronic stress also keeps cortisol levels elevated, which, as we discussed earlier, can drive neuroinflammation and damage brain function. To counterbalance this, you need to engage the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and digest mode. The parasympathetic system helps slow your heart rate, improve digestion, allow your body to repair and recover. Activating the parasympathetic system is key to reducing stress and promoting long-term health. And one of the most important pathways for activating this system is through the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is one of the 12 cranial nerves, and it is like the longest nerve. It goes all the way down into like your torso to all your organs. It's called the wandering nerve. That's what it means. And it is the main connector between your brain and your body's organs and plays a role in calming the body after a stressful response. By stimulating the vagus nerve, you can essentially turn on the parasympathetic system and promote relaxation and reduce harmful effects of chronic stress. So here's some ways to stimulate the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is closest to your body, like closest to the surface, right here behind the ear. So if you were ever going to do like any kind of like electrical stimulation or even tapping or like a laser or a light, you can put it right there. Like I have this light right here. Actually, I have these two devices right here. I have this light. Okay. I have this is like an electrical stimulation, kind of gives you a little shock, but you can set it really low. So anything that you do around here, including in your throat area, anytime you engage your throat, gargling, humming, that's why like those Gregorian chants, anything that has like those deep tones, because it's also getting the low frequency and that helps like ground you. And we have deep breathing, we have meditation or mindfulness, prayer. Okay, so anything that's really just, that's helping to center. And cold exposure, you can splash cold water in your face. You can literally put your face in a bowl of ice water. You can take cold showers. That one's like harder for me, but I have been doing cold plunges. Cold plunges, it's like you just jump in and you just sit there. The shower, for some reason, is a little bit harder because it's coming, but the cold plunges is better because you're immersed, and that helps. And then after the cold plunge, you can go into a sauna. So the place I go to, you go in the cold plunge. I stay for 3 minutes, go into the sauna for 30. My reward is going into the hot. Okay, so that cold is going to help really bring down the heart rate. In fact, there was a guy the other day, and he had a heart rate monitor, and he's in the sauna, it's like revving up really high, because the sauna also can act as a like cardio because it's helping your heart rate get up. And then he goes into the water and it goes down really low. I don't have a heart rate monitor, so I don't know. We have yoga and gentle movements, Tai Chi, those types of things. They promote balance in the nervous system, calm your stress response, and I think that's why the rhythmic movements that we teach in the Bloomberg rhythmic movement training is so helpful, because it's helping, maybe not stimulating the vagus nerve as much as just the whole parasympathetic and being grounded and stuff. And my favorite, I have one right here. My very favorite tool to balance the nervous system is the 𝐸ON patch by Lifeway. This is what it looks like. Oh, no, I don't have one. I had one on this morning and I took it off because I slept. I forgot to take it off last night. So you can see my little circle. Usually I put mine here. But the 𝐸ON patch, yeah, I will do that right now actually. It goes right here. There we go. The 𝐸ON patch helps address the nervous system so that other therapies that you might be experiencing, let's say you have a child and you're taking them to speech, or even trying to integrate reflexes, or whatever you're trying to do, but it's not working, but that nervous system is just so out of whack that it's not going to allow anything to work. So the 𝐸ON patch is going to really help that, because this patch is designed to help balance the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. I'm putting it right here because this is the pericardium 6 meridian point. And this point in acupuncture is really good for anxiety. So this is a really good point to put this patch on. You can put it also on the back of the neck. This also helps with inflammation. So this is inflammation, balancing the nervous system. It's a 2-for-1. It's one of my favorite patches. And if you want to know more about this patch, I have a video I'm going to link in the bottom, but there's a video in my channel that it's like a webinar that I did with my friend, and it's all about patching, basic points, basic protocols, all for mental health, brain health. So make sure that you check that one out. That has a lot more details. I just barely said anything about it right now. Reducing, so we're still in stress. So reducing stress isn't about just feeling calm at the moment. It's about breaking that cycle, because when we're in that sympathetic dominance, it's like we're stuck in that phase, and we have to break out of it, and we have to allow the body to actually really rest and heal and repair. And by bringing your parasympathetic system on board, you support better sleep, improved digestion, mental clarity, and long-term health. Okay, now back to supplementation. That's what we started on, right? Again, yes, supplements can play a big role in optimizing your health. I know, I have a lot of supplements, but they're the support for the basics, not the magic solution. So supplements like omega-3s, really important for the brain, like DHA, magnesium or vitamin D, they are very important, and they can fill in the nutritional gaps, because nowadays there's so many little gaps that we don't even know, but it's not a replacement. Okay, if you're not taking care of all those rest of the things, that diet, that rest, that exercise, and the stress reduction, then you're probably not going to you're not going to just start taking supplements and see them. Now, sometimes there are certain supplements for certain situations that you might notice something right away. But in general, you need the whole picture to really turn your health around. Your health comes from balance, and you can't just rely on supplements alone to fix poor lifestyle choices. Next week, we are going to talk about why common doesn't equal normal. So if you want to know more about that, make sure that you stay tuned for next Thursday. If you found this video helpful, please like it and share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe to more tips on brain health and learning. If you are ready to take the bull by the horns and embrace the different elements needed for brain health, then check out my Brain Support 90-day program. The link is in the description below. And until